Dussel.
I'm DJ Moore.
This is Two Dumbbells and a Microphone. And today we have another A-B episode. So if you're familiar, you'll know that this is where DJ and I have an opportunity to take a topic and kind of split it in half. So the first half for side A, that'll be DJ providing his response. And then side B, that will be where we flip it and it'll be my turn.
Yeah, it's the same question for both of us. Curiously come out with different information.
Yeah.
But this one, I feel, even the way we talked the other day about it, we're different too how we've arrived here. Completely.
Yeah.
So what is the question then?
Yeah, topic for today.
What is the topic? They want to know.
That's what we're going to get right into. And topic for today is to tell our story, both of our individual stories, who we are, and kind of how we got to where we're at. And I think that this is really important for everyone in the audience because they're going to realize, what we're bringing to the table with future episodes. So a bit of background, a little history, a little bit of our qualifications and credentials, and then hopefully a bit of information for you to bring into all the future episodes that you listen to.
Right. Let me start with this. Since I'm going first, I volunteered first, I guess. Let's get to this point.
Yeah.
This is going to take a long time, I think. I'm trying to narrow it down.
Okay.
I started when I was 14, and this was working out in our new high school that they built. I was 14 years old, and they had offered PE and weight training.
Okay.
And I've been thinking about this question. I remember back then that I didn't want to take PE anymore.
Okay.
Because PE was too simple. Back then we'd climb a rope, we'd do those little pegboards. All that stuff was simple. You'd run around the track, and this was child's play for me as a kid.
Okay.
And I wanted something more. It's his only perspective that I look back at it, though. So one year when they finally finished building our brand new high school, they offered weight training. None of us knew what it was. It's we know you lift weights, but there was no clear ability or knowing anything than what we had seen maybe in a magazine.
Okay. Bodybuilders.
Yeah, huge.
Gotcha.
So that was my first introduction, and that was my first time with lifting weights. It was right then. Instant awesome.
Yeah, okay.
Instant awesome. Because it challenged me more than anything else, and just challenged me physically. Later on, I realized how much it helped me mentally, especially as a young man. So that's where my first introduction into health, nutrition, weights, techniques, anything was derived at that moment at the age of 14.
All right. Wow. Pivotal age for sure. Let me make sure I'm tracking on this. So we got this question of who we are and what we're doing and why people would bother to listen to us.
Right.
And we wanted to make sure that we start with that. And your response is really beginning from the very start of your...
It's important that they understand what my mentality is about being a coach now and a health coach. I think you need to give people a perspective of their potential coach and trainer. You want to know who's going to teach you something, then maybe take this moment to learn out where I come from.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be to help you to make that decision to hire someone like me and say, man, you know what? This guy really told me where he's come from. And I think that you don't get that when you go to big box gyms and you go to hire a trainer. The only thing you know is their certifications and what they give you, that little, paragraph to kind of shout yourself out.
100 words.
That says nothing of the person who's about to coach another person. This is just fluff. Who cares if you got 19 certifications if you cannot connect with the human being? Yeah. So why I'm starting so early is because I want to tell people what happened a little bit.
Okay.
Where did this flame really start? And that's when it started. It was whoa.
I dig it, man. I think that's so cool. So really from...
You want to get to know me?
The very seed, the very origin is way back when. And let's go to it. So 14-year-old DJ starts his day one of strength training class. How does it, put me in the moment, how does it go? What happens next? How does it go into a moment of love? Because this could be a nightmare story for a lot of people. That first class can feel scary or overwhelming. They might not have ended up with a lifetime love of health and fitness, let alone make a career of it. So I'm curious.
Okay. Yeah, I can tell you because I can feel it. Because back then, when you're 14, you want to fit in, and when I was 14, or maybe I'm telling you personally, I wanted to fit in to a certain degree, but I didn't want to be considered weak or wimpy next to the other boys. Right? Yeah. This is kind of the thing that's this relatable. Age. Yeah. And if you've all taken, you're all in this class together to do what? Lift weights.
Right.
So if Tony's lifting 25s, you're trying to do 30s, and that's the way it goes. But that's that age. Yeah. But it was more than that. It was more than just like, can I lift more? It was like, I really wanted to know what to do.
Okay.
Like, how do you really do this? Yeah. Not just pick it up, put it down. And that's where it started too, my idea of like asking a lot of questions.
Okay.
Like, please tell me how this works.
So you already had a desire for proficiency on this. Before you'd even really started to harness the results from it, you already were drawn to getting good at it?
Well, you could tell right away what body mechanics worked right away. Oh, because since none of us really understood how to truly do, chest press or squatting, some of my friends could do certain things easier than others.
Oh, okay.
So just in performance,
just because of their body dimensions,
sure,
the growth and stuff. Okay.
A couple of them already had abs.
Sure.
They were that lean that they had abs, but nobody did crunches. Uh-huh. So even body types were different back then. And so your goal was to maybe get abs, but my goal, as I said, I wanted to be really good at it.
Interesting. Did you already have that that desire to be good at other things in your life, or was this kind of new for the fitness realm?
No, it was also something that I could do by myself.
Oh, okay. Solitary.
It's something I could be in my own head. I didn't need others to help me move on. Like I was just motivated myself.
Cool.
Right. And it's kind of how I like working out now.
Yeah.
Just with my head, my headset on and just kind of go.
Yeah. There's a clarity that comes from being in a solo venture like that.
And it's me against this thing. Mm-hmm. I don't have to battle against somebody else. That's not what I'm doing here. It's just me against this thing. This is why I've gravitated to certain type of activities too as well, like golf. It's just me and that stupid ball.
Yeah.
Nobody else. I'm not competing with you. It's just this. And so I gravitate towards these things.
Okay.
This was something I gravitated to when I was, in that weight room. It was fantastic.
That's cool, man. I can definitely relate to that, even at the age. But I wonder for you and for the audience as well, maybe put us on a calendar. What's the year for 14-year-old DJ?
I believe it's 1988.
Okay, 1988. Wow. So 2 years before I was born, you're getting started in the gym.
I was throwing down that iron, man. And that's when
you're off to a strong start. That's cool. So when you got into the class and you started participating, did things go like kind of how you expected, or
I think it's exactly how because I teach so much. And I watch how people struggle with the basic movement patterns. It was exactly the same thing for me as a 14-year-old. Mm-hmm. No, I just didn't pick something up and automatically just have that form. No, I struggle with control of it, just like I see people do nowadays, right?
Okay.
They don't have the real muscle structure to put up the kind of weights that I was putting up, and neither did I. Mm-hmm. And so I struggle with understanding load capacity and rep counts and fatigue. Like, I didn't understand any of that, but I just went for it.
Okay.
So it kind of dove in.
Okay.
Yeah, that's sort of my personality because it really helped me mentally.
I was just going to say, yeah, it sounds like something you would do.
It's like, oh, this is hard.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Good. Okay. I like it. So that's the seed. That's the beginning. And from there, what happens next?
Well, let me give it another spin too here.
Okay, yeah.
Let's be honest, because a lot of people will think about young men or even young women, this vanity with what comes with lifting weights. Mm-hmm. What I see now and is more vain than what we were seeing when I was young.
Okay.
There is more naked bodies out there and more boobs and more booties out there than what I was being shown.
You didn't have Instagram when you were that age. Yeah.
We didn't have internet.
Let me have you put your mic up just a little bit steeper. It'll point to your face a little bit better. Yeah, that's going to make a difference. All right, you're back. Go
Okay.
ahead. So no Instagram for 14-year-old TJ.
There's no internet, dude.
Yeah, of course.
So we can't, this is just the way it is.
So less comparison with others?
Yeah,
or?
but there's still a comparison with others. There's still a comparison. These are your children. We're children.
Yeah.
Of course, there's this sort of environment where your social status, your physical status, your economical status still plays a role in high school here.
There's a lot of competitive, just sort of that playground realm rather than the international online world.
Yeah.
Okay. I can understand that.
But it still feels the same, I'm sure.
Yeah.
This sort of like, do I look good? Like, do I have muscles? Because muscles were a thing, We thought girls really liked muscles. Mm-hmm. Some did, I guess. Yeah. Some didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't know that as boys. We're just like, yeah, see my bicep? Yes. Yeah. That's impressive. Yeah, girls just love that. We didn't know, but there is that aspect. And yes, that was a little bit of what I was doing. Yes, of course I would want to show off a little bit. Like, check it out, I can bench.
Sure, I get that.
14. And maybe that lasted maybe a few more years too. Of course it did. What comes with this learning process that I have gone through is, yes, of course I wanted to dig in, learn everything, do it perfectly, do it right, progress myself. But there was always a slight vein to it too. Is it showing that I'm doing all this stuff too?
Okay, yeah.
So I don't want the audience to be disillusioned that I was only in it for the science. No.
Yeah, it's not like you were some stoic 14-year-old.
I was trying to make my t-shirts tight.
Sure. Yeah. Let's recognize it. It's fair.
It's true.
Yeah.
And to not say that wouldn't help future clients of mine.
Sure, it'd be disingenuous.
If you're going to get to know me, I'm going to tell you exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
Because I train real people. I'm a real person. And these are the same things that other people go through.
I think a lot of people can connect with that idea of saying, you want to look better, you want to feel better about how you look.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people want to have the underlying sense of their own control to do that, where they feel like, okay, I'm in charge of this. It's something that I can really be proud of what I'm doing. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. It's totally valid reasons to do what we're doing in the gym.
Here's another point for me. Mm-hmm. It was a way to control too. So see, I don't want to go too far into my background because it gets a little dark. So let's just say as a troubled youth. Okay, we'll give it that because I don't want people going off. I know I've seen people assume, but this area right here for training really helped me mentally. So much.
Okay.
To have a place to get rid of the stress.
Yeah.
What I was going through as a kid was hard. My background is hard. And so what I was dealing with as a kid, this gave me that positive outlet. Yeah. Now, at the time, I couldn't tell you that that's exactly what was happening. But now when I look back, I know it because I still get those same feelings now. When I get stressed about something or something's very on my mind, nothing calms me more than going in and doing that thing that brings me that response again. And it calms me and it shows me how much more focused I can be on something after a workout.
That's powerful.
Well, I don't know if people are quite there yet, Joey. I know that there's a lot like you and me. Yeah, we understand that. We've gotten to a place where we can say, man, I'm stressed out. Where are you going? Not to the bar, not to the weed, not to the drugs. No, we go, let's go do some dumbbells. Let's go do some kettlebells. And you and I are both like that. We would rather focus our energy on what we know is to be a really true positive outcome. Yeah. Even if you're sweating and it's burning, we know that result comes that positivity of feeling and clarity. Listen, if you're still working out now and you have not found that, keep going. It will come to you.
Yeah.
This is a long journey, and it's taken me years and years and years to understand that and to feel it and to recognize that and know when it's coming on, the stress, and then take action.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have been diligent with working out all my life, but it's because I've been a lot of stress in my life. So I spent a lot of time in the gym. Guess what?
Wow, yeah.
It's some couch time without couch time.
It's rejuvenating. And I think that's really cool of you to share because I feel like a lot of regular people, the people that we train, they would say like that for them, it's kind of, they would probably have an imagination that for a person like you or I or any other trainer, we waltz into the gym, everything feels fantastic, or it's always easy for us to participate in workouts. We're kind of immune to some of the things that might derail or prevent someone else. And this, what you just said, clearly outlines that that's not the case. We're actually participating in the gym, feeling the same struggles, and going for the same reasons that we advocate for other people to as well. That's cool.
I might make what I'm doing look easy. It's just because I've had 30-some years of repetitions.
The practice, that's what shows up.
It's the only reason why you look at me and go, how's that dude still doing that? I'm not gifted. I'm not a superhero. I've just put in way more time.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why you can, my clients are so impressed sometimes, and I say the same thing to them. I'm like, but I've done 70 million more reps than you.
Yeah, it's sort of like, if you've done what I've done, you should be here. So thank you for recognizing it, but also it's not really spectacular in result because it's kind of anticipated when you've done the number of workouts and the sheer number of reps and the research and everything that goes into it. It's kind of what we expect to see come up.
With all that, I just wrote down some, because when people hire us, people to train them and coach them, they think that we're our first, like, we want to hear like, oh yeah, how much fat you want to lose and how much muscle you want to gain. And we all know that to be true, but this
is what the client thinks we care about.
Yeah, that we are going to care about, because you care about that, right? And I'm going to tell you as a coach now is that I don't. I'm not necessarily concerned about how much fat you need to lose or how much muscle you need to gain right away.
Okay.
That's not how I want to connect with my clients anyway. Because there's something way deeper than that. And it stems from some of this stuff like stress and stuff. Because when they come and see me, they're already stressed out. And it's not just because they're overweight, and it's not because they're weak. They've got other things in their life too that are stressing them out.
Right.
They don't maybe acknowledge it, but it's there as well. And I want to show that the world, when you train with someone like you or me, we're not training just to help you lose that fat and gain that muscle or build that confidence.
I see, yeah.
We want to show you what this activity does for your mental health. Yeah. That's why I bring up this story of why I spent so much time in the gym, was for my mental health. Yes, there was some vanity. Yes, it's to keep the fat down. Yes, it was to learn, but it was also to battle the stress, stuff that I'd done to myself, and things that, well, they occurred as kind of the aftershocks of my decisions.
I see.
So I want people to know, as their coach, I understand why you're really there. We need to let you know that we see past this fat and muscle thing. It's beyond that first.
Okay.
And I think that's where we need to start people. Instead of saying, yeah, we're going to help you lose all this fat and gain this muscle. Untrue. Why don't we just stop and slow down and say, let's just work on de-stressing a little bit.
Yeah.
The workouts don't have to be crazy intense. Why don't we just move?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, just by moving, you will start to feel better. I have proof, by the way. I have statistical proof. I have clients who will tell you this exact thing right to your face.
The track record.
They come in, they see me like, DJ, man, I'm just feeling it today, bro. I'm like, you know what? Let's do this, this, and this. They're like, that's all we're going to do? Yeah, man. And they're like, oh, this was the best workout, dude. I feel so good now.
Yeah.
I go, really? Well, go tell your friends then.
Not surprising, because you expect it with this. By this level, and that's what we expect you to
It's because it's a truth I already know within myself. I know once you're done, even though you didn't like to do all of what I taught you to do, you will feel what I feel.
Yeah.
Even if it's for a brief moment, you're going to walk out that door and go, ooh, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
It's every time.
That's cool, man. I really appreciate you sharing that, because I think it's really refreshing to hear, that as you're going through your own workouts, you're building in that program into your clients as well, so that they can get the results, which might not be the things that they're verbalizing, but are what they are actually looking for. The fat, the muscle, that's what we measure, but we can gain those measurements, those results, by seeing the improvement in the mental. And as a trainer, it's so much more rewarding to have that mental, because it's like they're going to stay on, hopefully, for their whole life.
Yes.
That's what's really rewarding. And so we can measure the scale, we can see the waistline. I want to see those good results, but I want them to be because of the proper mental and lifestyle changes. And I think that this is really easy to see with when people advocate like weight loss solutions that aren't healthy.
Right.
Well, it's a number. You change your waist, but your brain is the same. Your routines are the same. Your habits are the same. What's going to be different to get you a different result in the future? That's not the type of coaching that we're trying to support at all.
No.
So I love to see those empirical results, but by way of these bigger changes that you're talking about, which are stemming from the seed of the earliest introduction to the gym.
It starts.
That's so cool.
Yeah, early. Yeah. And there's a lot of illusion of what we as trainers are. You know, how many times when people come and say, man, when I first hired you, I thought you were going to make me do this crazy stuff and I was going to be so sore. Yeah. And then they realize, like, because I got tattoos, I'm sort of muscular, so I look sort of intimidating to some. And so I got this I'm bald. And so I got this quick assumption that, oh, this dude's going to just whoop my ass.
Yeah, right.
So untrue.
Big mismatch between the expectations and the reality.
Yeah. And I want people to understand that. Maybe it will make it more calm for you to hire somebody. Maybe this is how you find your next trainer. Right? Or your coach, or your health coach, and you listen to what they say about you as far as mental health. Yeah. Instead of, oh, this fat, oh, this muscle. Yeah, we already know that. That stuff's a given. Yeah. So the next time somebody comes to me, now they're gonna know. Like when they listen to this, they're gonna know. I hope that this calms their, trepidation to come to see me. Because when they see me, they might think one thing, but now that they get to hear how I really think about it, they're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, he's not gonna like whoop my ass the first day. He's gonna slowly, gently lead me into it," and that's exactly how I approach it.
Yeah, that's good.
Not we're gonna squat until your legs are so sore you can't sit on a toilet.
Yeah, some trainers use that as a badge of honor for how
sore you are is exactly how well your training was, and I know
there's so much more to it.
This is not it.
Yeah. So anything we can do to lower that barrier to entry and to have more people start participating, just like you started at one point, and you explicitly remember it, and you bring that into your energy when you bring someone else in. I think that's such a big deal, and I really do hope that the audience, anyone who hears this, anyone who meets you, can start to learn that about you, because I think it's a fundamental piece of your character and your style of training.
I agree. Yeah, and I can't wait for people to actually hear yours. I'm excited to hear what your response is, because I know it comes from a different place. Yeah. But I see that it always leads to the same place, though. Starts somewhere different for you and me, but it keeps leading back to this same area. And before I lose track, I've got...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let me write... I wrote some
stuff down. Go with what's
down,
next. Yeah,
right?
Take your time.
Yes, people, I wrote some stuff down.
This is what I like, is we thought about this, and we got started on this topic in the first place because we thought, hey, if we launch a podcast, what would we talk about, and why would people want to even listen? And so we identified that we needed to fill in this information about who we are and why we ended up at this table to do these recordings. It's a huge question, like maybe an iceberg with all that mass underneath the water being so much more than what you can see jutting up above. The reasons why we work out, the reasons why we coach, the reasons why we want to continue building our own brands and broadcasting, like it's so multifaceted, but there's a huge amount of parallel sensation with quote unquote regular people, the people we coach, the ones that are trying to improve their fitness. They're motivated by similar factors, sometimes just to a different degree. And I think that's really cool to be able to talk about.
So again, I used to be a phlebotomist. This is a side story to kind of tie this in. I used to be a phlebotomist, right? Okay. So I used to draw blood. So you go you go in there, and you know what people would invariably say? Oh, here comes the vampire. And so, and I happen to be a really good one. So I could do most times, and you wouldn't even know. So, but you would still get that connotation. Yeah. I don't want to be seen this way as a coach.
I see.
I want people to really know who I am. Yeah. This is the most refreshing thing I've done so far in a long time, is just let people know before you even see me and meet me, you get to know what I'm about. And that's, if I'm going to pick someone to help me, I want to know about them.
Yeah. Agreed.
I would like to know our president more personally, so I'd hire him better, or somebody else, of a CEO. Like if I knew them more personally, I'd be more apt to hire somebody I really kind of knew about and heard their passion and intent behind what they were quote unquote selling. Yeah. Right. Which again, you and I are not selling
I know that's the beauty of it. We don't have a persona that we need to be able to broadcast. Instead, we get this chance to have long form conversation and really be unedited and unadjusted by anyone. So
several of my clients actually didn't train with me right away because I was intimidating looking. And they watched me for over a year until they realized the type of person I was and the training style that I had. They were like, you are not what you look like.
I think that's really cool of you to be so aware of the baggage that other people might bring into a personal training relationship.
Right? How many more people could I have helped? This is the more important, not how many more clients could I have had. How many more people could I have helped if we didn't have this visual problem? Looking at me and assuming, oh, nah, this is not my guy. And instead,
you could have been a great match for them, but they didn't start
because of even the way I looked. I got a few tattoos,
which wasn't because you were shouting. It's because they've seen other people with tattoos shouting mid-workout.
It's this whole phlebotomist. You're a vampire. If
you're a trainer with tattoos and bulging muscles, you must be a boot camp instructor who's going to yell at me to do barbell lifts.
And I'm ex-military.
See, this is why it's so important for us to be able to say these things, because people do have those pre-connotations.
You said that too. If we didn't tell people who we were, they were just going to assume.
Yeah.
And I would rather just tell you who I am so that you can come to the conclusion that way. You don't have to like me. That's okay, but at least you know me, and I'll take that. Let's move on. What did I got? More notes.
Yeah, hit me. What's next? I like starting at the beginning. I want to make it thorough, but let's be conscious of time here for 27 minutes already.
Okay.
So.
Well, you know what? I don't have much more because I believe this covers a lot of what we talked about. But let me point it out one more time why I coach.
Okay. I think this is good because so far you've provided the answer of why you personally participate in workouts, how you started and what keeps you going for your own workouts. But there's a big step from being fit for yourself and then going on to a career of coaching others and helping them to get more fit. So what was the spark, or what helped you make that decision to get into that realm?
When I started really getting into the personal training, and it wasn't long. I mean, it took me a couple weeks to realize this is not what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
I didn't expect the level of abilities that I was training to be as low as I was seeing.
Okay.
I thought most people had a better ability. I was really naive on my first couple of clients because I was like, I thought you were stronger.
So they were even less fit than you thought they would be when you started.
Yeah,
okay.
Because I never, when I first started coaching, I didn't know about other people's abilities. I only knew my ability, and some of my friends, were strong. But as I worked out in different gyms here and there, you didn't know who could do what. And so when I had that first interaction, it was like, holy cow, whoa, I need to learn.
Yeah, so that's the difference between people who weren't in your peer group and had different levels of how high they could jump or what they could lift or how they could move their own body.
Yeah, it was astonishing. I was like, okay, I need to really rethink why I'm here. Because I came into it thinking, oh, everybody's going to lose fat. Everybody's going to get muscle. They're going to be all, dude, these people are going to look different rapidly.
I see.
Because I just got out of the books too, right? I just got out of the books and they're talking about timelines and time frames and data, and I started to buy into it. So once I had that established, that people should be like, oh, look, 30 days you should be here, 60 days we should be here. If everybody look, you need to eat this, do this, do this, and
pretty
that's
scientific.
the schedule. However, that was my schedule. In the book, in the stuff like that, this is the perfect scenario. Well, as the trainer was following this policy.
Okay.
But my clients, nowhere near it.
I see.
Because I didn't understand that, they're not going to work out 5 days a week. They're not going to eat 3-4 times a day. They're not going to have just 70 grams of protein. No, they're going to screw it up, and they're going to screw it up a lot. They're going to have a lot of trouble. Didn't understand that right away. Didn't take long.
Okay.
And then I realized I needed to change my mentality, how I was coaching, change some things, and start working on it. And that right there That's when it really changed. That was a significant moment when I watched one of my clients fail at something that was, okay, fair, to seem simply done.
Okay.
When they couldn't perform it, even at its modified level, I was like, dang,
Yeah.
I got to redo this, man. This book, these books, these certifications that I got, all this information, I go, okay, some of it applies.
Yeah.
Some of it's good, but it doesn't quite show the whole real scenario of what goes on.
The application.
So that was one of my moments right there where I was like,
Okay.
okay, I'm here to help you get better at just everyday life. Anything that you need to do, pick up, put down, slide over here, put overhead, grab funky.
Yeah.
I want to teach your body to be able to do all of it.
Yeah.
Jump, run, pull, whatever it is. I want to make sure that we get all of it. And that's the difference. I don't care how much fat you really lose right away or that we change your nutrition instantly. I would rather us start at the process of just learning how to feel good. So
I like it, man. So let me make sure I'm tracking with this, because basically it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you go through the education process, you're studying for your certification, practicing for the test, going through all the questions and getting the required information to be a trainer. And then when you get into those sessions, you realize, oh, these potential clients, they're not even really ready to set sail, metaphorically. They can't do the things you've learned from the studies in the textbook. And this is, I think, a big step in a lot of trainers' careers, because I personally felt it as well. I've seen people drop out of the industry because of this big hurdle. And I actually kind of like that you started with it pretty early, because I think it put you on a path of really being self-examinatory of your own coaching, which is a big deal.
I wanted to learn so much, and the only thing I had around me was other trainers,
Okay.
and some books and magazines, and so I just dug in. I asked every question I could. I dug in every magazine I could. When finally YouTube came on and stuff like that, I started researching through there. Like I just wanted to know, and more importantly, I just didn't want to know what was being done. I also wanted to know how I could help my clients with it first. Like I could watch something being done and say, that's a really good exercise. However, that's not going to work for all these people.
Yeah.
What can I do to bring that in? Because there's something valuable here. So how can I make this a starting step for them to get to that next thing? Because that next thing is what I want. My biggest goal is to help people get to that point. Yeah, we know you want to lose fat. We know you want to, have nice, muscle tone. I know that.
Yeah.
But there's a way bigger picture, and I want to teach that bigger picture. I want to show you there's a bigger picture. Stop fixating on these couple little bullet points. Let's change this. It's more of a mental game than it is a physical game.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I can prove that time and time again.
Yeah, definitely more mental than anything.
So that's why I coach. That's my significant event. I still do it today. I still challenge myself. I'm still learning. I'm still putting myself under the microscope. I want to make sure that everything I do can be scrutinized and can be backed up.
Yeah.
And someone will be like, yep, that's all right.
Right.
Because I just don't want to get caught with my pants down not knowing anymore. I've been there.
I think this is actually pretty interesting because, I can imagine a potential for you that would have been, the start of your training career. You start with people that are kind of like yourself. The methods you use for your own training workouts work well for them too. And you would have never been greeted by that mismatch, which forced you to then examine what you're doing and why you're doing it and really put you down this road. And it's something that I talk about with a lot of coaches, particularly in the CrossFit scene. Like they're a healthy 20-something-year-old male and they start programming workouts for just all different types of people. And it's like, hey, man, what works for you as a 20-something-year-old male is absolutely not what a 47-year-old female should be doing. And we can look at all those scientific studies that are in the textbooks. They're mostly study college people because that's where the colleges are at. They have students there. And so we have to always have that applicability filter where we say, hey, here's the science, and then let's put it through this real world test and see if it's going to show up and have a result. I think that's only possible through experience.
It's hard. This industry is really hard, and it chews up a lot of good potential trainers.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's hard. I mean, if you want to make money at this job right away, forget it.
Yeah.
This takes a lot more effort than people realize.
Yeah.
This is not an easy job, and especially when you love people.
It's a tough job to make as a career, for sure.
I see that's the issue. It's like I want to teach.
Yeah.
And I get frustrated too as being a teacher and a coach. Of course I get frustrated at my students.
We're partially compensated by the results, so we want to see them actually happening.
But at the same time, I really want to see you succeed because I know when you do, it's that face that you give me or that acknowledgement the next workout. You're like, I see why we did it. I get it.
Yeah.
It's that moment that I'm looking for more than anything else is the acknowledgement and recognition that you're doing it right and that you're feeling the result, not necessarily having to see it, but feeling it. And that's one of my big things, right? Feel good.
That's big, yeah.
Then we'll show you how to look good.
Yeah.
Look good can come later.
Yeah.
And by the way, a lot of you out there already look good. You're fine. Mm-hmm. It's not as bad as
that can be a future podcast episode when we talk about self and body image. But I'll tell you what you're telling me right now even is going to pass when someone is older individual and they're not working out for looks anymore because they have less muscle than any point in their life. They got saggy skin. They're not doing things that, other people are going to even consider challenging. But for them personally, they should still be working out for the mental benefit first. And that's a reality everybody needs to face. If you work out long enough, and this is something we can pray that we hope we achieve, you will eventually end up doing twice as much work for half the results. It's just the course of aging.
It is.
But we have to be ready to stick with it when we get through to those points. And so if we can use those empirical and visual measurements like scale and photo and how we look, then we can also make sure to keep how we feel as maybe the primary, the deep motivator, because that's going to carry through even as you get older. So, all right, that's my TED Talk. That's my soapbox for the end. But I wanted to tag that on with what you're saying.
You know what? And it's probably
I think that's so important.
40 minutes.
We're closing in on 40, yeah.
I don't apologize for the length of this.
Yeah, good.
I started at the age of 14. I am almost 50. I have a lot to say.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it shouldn't be a short episode.
And you want me to narrow it down in less than 40 minutes, my entire spiel? Okay, here's the first part then. Because you're going to hear more of the same thing again and again and again through all the stuff that we have written down to do.
I can dig that.
You're going to see that you're going to hear that same tone from me.
Yeah.
The same idea of why am I here? To help you.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want it, come get it. That's all I got to say.
I love it, man.
This movie is part B.
I think that's one of the best ways we could end. But before we go out, let's just do a quick recap of what we talked about. So if we can go through kind of a brief overview just before we finish up the podcast episode. Today, we were looking at episode 2A, where this is the first half here as we go through DJ's origin story, how he started working out, why he coaches, what keeps him going in the gym, and what keeps him going with the industry, right? With these early morning wake ups to go and coach other people. I think it was a super exciting episode because even, as friends, I learned things about you. And so I hope the audience that hears this is also finding it interesting as well.
And if they don't, you don't have to listen to it.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the whole premise of this too. You don't have to like what I have to say.
Put us on 1.5 speed and get through it quicker.
Get through it. I don't care. Yeah, because.
But the reason why we share this is because, we've identified some of those things that kind of make us stand apart from other trainers. And we want to share those with people because we're going to go into some of our future episodes. We're going to cover some topics and we want to be able to break away from hopefully any and all baggage that people may bring from previous interactions with personal trainers and or perceived interactions with trainers. So if you're listening to this one and if you're listening to our episodes in the future, I hope you're getting a little bit better awareness of who we are and what it would be like to be here with us in the moment.
Yeah. Let's go, man. Let's end this thing.
Cool. Great job. We got it. 40 minutes right on the nose. Thank you for listening. See you next time.